Okay, so here's my cache for the whitewater. Looks really nice with a lot of details, so it's great. We can use the same processing node that we had before. So I guess, let me see if we can reach out to this. Yeah, we have it in here, so let me just place this in manual. And the node that I want is this one, the standard Houdini whitewater processing node that comes when you just add from the shelf tool. And I'm going to go press him. Let me place this one. This one here. Great, we keep everything as is. I'm going to also make this background light again. And yeah, look into the spheres. I think we can just place a null and we can refine the size of the P scale and everything after we look to the actual render. Then we can come out and change the P scale or anything. So let's call this white main points. Great. Next, let's start build the same setup that we had for the boat splash, but we need to, of course, play with some of the parameters. I'm going to go back to manual mode so we can grab our whole system from this guy. So is this boat splash. I'm going to copy everything from here. Get back to this. So this is the flip. So, but the flip is not the fluid tank one, is this flip that we have here. So let's see, we can grab the actual flip. So is this guy. Let me place a null mesh, and we can grab this guy. Let me go in here and place this one in. Let me this again. Right, so this is the flip. This is the sailboat. It's with the correct animation in it. And let's dive inside our emit area. Remember that we have like this thing that we go around the boat to emit. So let me dive inside, and we can keep this as is, and also this part. And about the distance, I want to go a little bit closer to the boat, because our camera is closer, so it's going to pick up if something is emitting too far away. So I'm going to decrease this range to something like that, a little bit more tight to the boat. Nothing huge, but just a little bit. So now we can just see, we can keep deleting that. And the scatter node, I think we need to increase that, maybe to something like that, so we have more points, because it's also closer. We need to see more things going on. And yeah, we don't need relaxed iteration. And let me change that back to points. See, this our emission area. And now we need to think about like something, because now it's going to be really close. And I want to show you something about our geometry. So here is our boat, right? Like, so this is the collision boat. But if you look to the boat, there is some thickness to the walls, but it's empty inside. You see the boat inside? This is not like, this is a wall that has some thickness to it. You see here, we are in the middle of the two walls. So like it would be physically built, would be something like that. But we need to do something different about it, because now we are very close to the boat. And if the particle pass through this wall, like from a frame, and then in the next frame is just inside, it's not going to be colliding with anything. It's just going to pass through, because in one moment the particle is here, the next frame is already inside. So it doesn't know, like when it looks inside, it's not a collision because it's an empty place that it could live. And then it can fly through the middle of the hole here, the deck. So because now we need to be a little bit more precise with our collision, I want to create something with that, something additional with that. And this collision is what we call like we're going to build that, and this is called like the convex hull. Let me show you. I think we can just, maybe you can drag this guy out here and we can do that. So the convex hull here, sorry, it creates a very rough representation of our geometry, just connecting everything from the top. It just make the connection with the parts that have like the convex angles on it, and it's really rough, so it doesn't go inside, like it's just like the outside, but it's a good starting point. I want to do a couple of things because this is a good way to delete things that are in this area. So I'm going to just place a null here, and let's call this out convex, right? Out convex. Yeah, I can just like that. And then I want to remesh this because I want to get like more resolution on this guy, because I want to ray it back to the original geometry. Now, this is very, very sparse geometry, so there's not a lot of geometry going on. And this guy is already better, but I want to go even further. I want to get like something like that. So we gain a lot of resolution back. And now we can ray it. We can ray back to this. So it's actually this raying into that. And for that, I want to get like the minimum distance. And you see, we got this shape. This area is a little bit messy, and also this mesh. But everything that we care about this is this area. It's kind of very precise for what we want, and it's a full area. Like, so if we VGB now, all this is a massive solid shape inside. So it's all part of the collision. That's exactly what we want. If you want to go even further, you could do this again. You could just come, remesh, and you could come here and do this again. And you see you get like better and better every time you do that. Do we need that? Not really, but it doesn't hurt. Like, it's not like a lot of thing. I'm just going to go with that. So now we can VGB from polygons. And I want to increase that pretty much like 0.008, because now we need good mesh for good resolution for the VDBs. We can just do a VDB reshape. Oh, not this one, sorry. VDB reshape SDF. I want to just go slightly outward, just a little bit. Can dilate a little bit, and we can just cache this out. So file cache. Oh, I have this naming that I did for this guy, and it's under dollar cache 2 is my other cache drive. And yeah, like that. We don't need to go all the way to this. We can do like 48, 168. I'm doing from 48 because I just need a little bit of pre-roll for our simulations, the splash simulations. And load from disk. Okay, yeah. You see this one that I cached before? It's only going this. I didn't do another one, but it's very fast to cache this out, so it's good. And now I want to have like the original VGB convert. So we have like the geo for that. And this is polygons. I want to do an attribute transfer. Attribute transfer. And I want to transfer. I can transfer from this guy. So it's just the velocities. No, not this guy. I picked the wrong one. So it's this guy. This one has the velocities. And also here we can increase the adaptivity. We don't need all this revolution for that. It can be much lighter. And now the points, we can just grab the velocity from there. And let me just place a null. And we can call this out. Collision geo pick. Yeah. You don't even need like to have like close up in the name. I think it's okay to have like that. I also want to have like this a little bit eroded VDB to kill particles. So I'm just going ahead of myself in the things that I know that I will need. As we did before with the fluid surface, I want to have like this VGB but reshaped inside so it doesn't kill things that are hitting that, but everything that goes inside I want to kill. So I just want to do a VGB reshape SDF, and I want to erode this guy. So let's erode, and I want to erode by 3, and this is the new guy. Doesn't matter that, it's fine. It's just this that I want to have like thinner so I can erode. And I also going to place that, and let's go all BDB VGB eroded VGB thick. Okay, so now we have the VGB that I need to just name this guy. So let me just get this. This is the original, just the both eroded VGB thick. It's not the eroded one. So we have the regular VGB, the regular geo with velocities. Yeah, we have velocities. And we have the eroded VGB, and also we have this convex hull. When we get back, we keep working on that. I just wanted to do this preparation for us because different shots require different collision geos and also like different geometries. And this is a little bit more suited for the type of shot that we're going to have, like that's something very close, and we would notice particles just burning inside out from the deck. It's something that we don't care when we're looking from this distance. You don't know where the particle is coming from, if it's crossing through. It's a little bit more forgiving, but for that, you could use that for the other ones as well. It wasn't just necessary, and I had the geometry like that, and it was okay, you know, like just showing you different ways to prepare your shot. Okay, see you there. Welcome back. Previous lesson we prepared our boat. I'm just going to copy this guy because we're going to use to delete our source particles. Okay, so instead of bringing this guy, I want to bring our convex, and instead of volume, we need to be object. And if we make the selection, we're deleting all this area inside the boat. And let's blast. That's good. We make a very clean selection around it. All right, so it's really good. Now I want to delete based on the camera. So we have already set our delete, I think is this guy, delete by cam. It's a volume. So I'm going to just go ahead and do another blast in here. So let me go in here. Let me do a point VOP. Delete by cam. Right. Object merge. I'm going to merge this guy in. Place it in here. Dive inside. Volume sample. Second input. Position. Compare. I want to kill everything that's greater than, so it's outside the volume of the camera. Remove points, and that's it. We deleted that. So just optimizing a lot now based on the camera as well. And now let's see. Let's go for our point velocities. I don't want to have like as much now because we don't want the particles to burn very vertical for this shot because we're looking very close. And from the distant one, you want a little bit more movement, or otherwise like the subtleness of like just going a little bit wouldn't sell the idea. But for this one, we want a little bit more realistic movement. So I'm going to decrease that to 1.2. 1.2. That's good. And in the set by n, we have like the same setup that we had before. We're just grabbing the normals of that, and then we are just, if you remember, we are PC open and PC filter the normals into it, and we are doing like a compare. If it's pointing down, we're not caring about, so we're picking just the X and Z from the normals. So that's, and I'm going to just reduce a little bit. So let's see what we get so far. We go in here. So we have like particles burning outside, shooting outside the boat. That's great. That's exactly what we want. And another one, just to add like some curl and all that, like I just want to make it more like settle. Swirl size 1.5, and that's it. So I'm not going to change anything. Do we need to keep changing that? I think we might, but I'm not going to divide into different axes. So I'm going to get like let me just disconnect, get a length only, and we are going to multiply, right? Like, so let me just multiply. And for that, we have like I already have like this based on the animation that we have. We're going to start on frame in the frame 101. We're going to have just half of that because the boat is just going kind of like flat. So let me also place this in manual mode. We're going to have half, and then on frame 112 is the start of the splash. We're going to have like that. Oh, sorry, I missed that one. So 1.5 keyframe. Then we have 142. We have like that again. So all these are big splashes, having a lot of things. Then it goes like 0.6 again, just to have like less. And then we go back to 1.2 in here again, and then goes all the way to the end like that. Okay, add splash. I want to just add like the name close up, so we know that all these caches are the close up cache. And the place for that, I want to just, I have the version 3 is the one that I liked, so I'm going to keep like that and load from disk. So you're going to see my emission is this one. Oh, okay, so let me disable that, and this is my emission. Yeah, nice. Okay, in the next lesson, we're going to work on the simulation of our first splash sim that is based on the flip. Remember, just to recap, because maybe you forgot how we did on the first one. We do a flip simulation on these particles, but we're going to render them as whitewater. We're not going to mesh them. And then after that, we're going to make another selection from the flip, and we're going to run a whitewater. We could run a pop theme. I'm just not sure if we will. I don't think it's necessary for this case, because you can have a lot of whitewater from this angle, and it's enough, I guess. So yep, in the next lesson we do the flip sim. Just the adjustments. It's everything set up for us already. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm going to have this set to don't simulate, and let's check this guy. We're going to start from frame 72 as we did before, so nothing different there. Now we have like a couple of things that we need to change in this guy. I also want to collide with my sail. So yeah, or not. Yeah, we might need, it would be good to have like the collision with the sail as well. So for the boat collision, we actually want the thick geo. So I need to go here and let me increase that. And we have boat collision geo thick. So this guy, it's also used to deform geometry. And here it's also the collision VDB thick. So it's this guy. And now we can also fetch for our sail. So I'm going to duplicate this guy. And I'm going to just maybe we need to do a simulation for the sail for this one first. Yeah, I think it's important. So we started that, but then I realized that the order of that, it's important, and it's going to be very fast. So it's a change in our plans. I'm going to disable this guy. I'm going for our boat. We don't need that, the main sail, but we do need to work on our Genoa sim, right? So let's, everything is basically the same. We don't need to change a lot of things for that, but the animation of the boat is different, so we do need to change. We're going to keep the same wind, and everything is basically the same. Let me go in here and check. Maybe we can increase the wind more. So that's one thing that we're going to do. Let me see if the remesh, we're going to change something. No, we keep the same remesh, and in the volume we keep the same. Constraints, we can keep the same. The stretchiness, I want to increase the stiffness of the sail a little bit. So maybe even the stretchiness I want to increase to 15, and the stiffness I want to increase to 5, multiply by that. So maybe even 10, and that's it. So let's reuse everything. We don't care about the main sail that are not going to be visible, but for this one we want. Just double check that it's coming from your close up animation, the correct one, and not from the other one. And in here, let's rename this guy to close up, and I'm going to just grab this cache 2 is where I'm saving these guys now. Version 1, and this is, we don't need to go all the way to 240, and just cache this guy out. Sorry for this change of plan, but it's just to get in correct order. It's going to benefit our simulation. Thank you. Welcome back. So this is the animation of our sail. This is nice. This part under it that's just flapping up and all that. So we're going to do the same thing. Let's get this guy. Awesome. And I think with this one we can probably do an object merge in here, paste in there, and this is the one that we're going to use to poly extrude. Output back. VDB reshape. Maybe we need to do a couple of things in this. Maybe we need to increase that, and then we can VDB reshape, and yeah, we have this. Let's just go to another render to see if it takes too long to process. No, it's very fast, so it's really good. I think this is enough collision for us. Might be a little bit thick, so let me go in here and see how much we can push before start to break this. I think this 3 is too much, yeah, but 2 is enough. Maybe here we can push this a little bit more. Yeah, no, then it starts to just get heavy. Okay, so this is the collisions that we want for our sails. And let me just do one thing. Let me see if we have velocities. This guy, we don't. So I'm going to just do a trail node. I want to compute velocity and center distance difference. And let's see how is our velocities. Yeah, perfect. We got the velocities here, and they keep working for us in here. I think the VDB extrude we can go like maybe less, and this is going to help us with this, but then in the collisions we need to go to dial down. I think 1 will be too much already. Yeah, I start to get some 1.5 is too much, 0.8, 0.5. Yeah, I think this is good. All right, so let me copy this guy, and we go back into here, the splash sim, and this is our sails. So now it makes sense that we have like this. So out sail volume, and out sails geo. The name is bad, right? Like volume, it should be VDB. But yeah, I need like when you start to do these courses, the course start to get very long, and you're afraid that people get bored. So I start to kind of like hush into things, and naming conventions and all that start to get like compromised by my will of making this interesting and dynamic, and that you keep motivated, even though it's a very long and very like complex course. So yeah, sorry for that. Let me just see if we're going to make any change here in this guy. Okay, so we make this the same. We can keep that the same, maybe reduce a little bit the y variation, and we can increase a little bit like these variations, add some velocities to the y and z just to break up things. And yeah, everything else is the same. Mask by age, we can just maybe do like 10. After 10 frames, it's going to start getting more affected by the wind, by this wind. So yeah, it's very close. If you look to the camera shot, and let me just add things here, or maybe let me go in here and let me enable this so we can visualize the boat. Yeah, so let me disable that. It's very close, the shot, and you're not going to see all that information from the real wind, so we can do something more simple with that. I'm going to exchange that for a point wind, pop wind, just so we can get like, and let me just grab the name, is age mask. All right, so pop wind, we want like to have like 8 in here, 0.3 just a little bit up, and 3 in here. And we can use a Vex expression. What is that? Let me just pass through, and we want the wind. And the wind multiplies itself, so it multiplies the power of this wind that we set here by our age mask attribute. Okay, let's get like a little bit of this and a little bit of increasing the swirl size. That's great. Pop drag, we keep as is, we don't need to change. And we have like this delete inside. So this delete inside has like one, in this case there is the surface eroded. But for now we want to do more killing of using that. So let me see if we have the erosion of our flip. So we have like the surface of the ocean. It's in here. Where is it? I think it's in here. From the flip simulation, we eroded that. I want to erode it even more, so we are not sure that we're killing things that would fly to the air. That I want to let the particles fly. I don't want to delete them, because when you delete inside the solver, once you delete this particle, it will never fly up again. When you delete after the solver, if you simulate everything and you delete it based on that, you're just deleting particles that are inside that. But if the particles just after 2 frames go outside again, they start to leave. But if you kill in the solver, they will never even exist. So you need to be very careful with that. So that's why I want to do a VGB reshape SDF again, and eroded this even more. So I'm just making it even more eroded. I'm going to place a null and call this. You can visualize that with a primitive VOP. Primitive, just so we can visualize that. And I'm going to the volumes, adjust visualization, ISO surface, and this is the original one. And here, just to compare with our area, this is our flip, and this is our eroded, so it's less. So then if it goes inside this, we can delete. So I'm going to select this guy, and I'm going to go back to our add splashes sim, go in here, and this is our first one. I'm going to just place this, and I'm going to change this to relative path. So this is eroded. The second one that I want to delete is the camera one, the same that we had before. So I'm going to delete based on kill by cam. This guy. So let me go in here, going to delete and just place this in here and export relative path. And the third one that I want to delete is everything that is inside this boat. That's why we created that that geometry eroded afterwards. So was thinking on this one. So I'm going to go back to our boat, sailboat in, and here we have like the out bolted eroded VDB fix. So is the eroded one, is this one. So now we know that input 1 is the ocean eroded, the output 2 is the cam, and the 3 is the thickness, is the boat eroded, right? Like this geometry eroded. And then I want to dive inside, and we're going to have 3 of those. So the first one is the ocean, okay? So I want to kill everything that is less than 0. It means inside the ocean. Then we can copy that for the second input, and we keep like that. So this one, the second input, is our camera. And I want to delete everything that is greater than, in this case of the camera. I want to invert that. So it's greater than, because we want to keep everything that the camera is inside the volume of the camera, but we want to delete everything that's outside. So it's the invert. And here, instead of having like we need like to set or. So if it's this or this, so if it's inside the ocean or if it's outside the camera view, and then the third one, that's from the third input, and this one is inside the boat. So I want to delete everything that is less than again, or if it's inside the boat. If any of these, just by itself, if one of these happen, the particles are going to get killed. So we're going to kill everything that is inside the boat. We're going to kill everything that's outside the camera and out inside the ocean. All right, let me see if we're going to change anything here, but I don't think so. So starting from the substeps, we keep like that. In this part, receding, we keep separation. Droplets, yeah, we detect. We can keep the vorticity, and the volume limits that we need to change. We have like the bound, so I'm going to just manual here, and we're going to do the same thing. Referencing data to here, it's called uprest sim. So we have everything set. Mask, yeah, gravity set, all the geometry, and now we can just delete non-selected. Yeah, we don't need the fields here, because we're going to build our custom field. So that's why we're also deleting the name, because if you have the name here, if you don't have the name, you're killing the velocities and the surface field. But we're going to build our custom one. So thank you. And let's sketch this out. And in the next lesson, we work on our custom field and our whitewater simulation. Just one thing before, don't forget to rename this and save to your new path. Or yeah, if it's the same cache, it's okay. I filled out my other cache, so that's why I'm using this. And in this case is 168, and here is 72, and that's it. Thank you. Hey, welcome back. So here's the cache, my cache here. This is the result, so it's really nice. It gives a very nice blend with the outside ocean, and you have like this edge of whitewater, but it's very break up and very nice, and a lot of, yeah, it's really good, really nice. I love the result of that. It's going to help blend a lot this. And now let's dive into this, the same node that we created. So here we're getting all this setup is the density search, remember? So we can just visualize that into color just to see what we get from here. So all this white, I want to maybe reduce the search radius a bit to 0.75, 0.8. We might want to increase a little bit the points to 100, and you have like this more dense part and some like fly-offs in here and there. The P scale I want to reduce, so before we have like this, I want to get smaller with that, and definitely with that as well. So for that we can just, let me disable the color, and for the density we keep the same thing. Let me just visualize that with the lead spheres. Yeah, you see it's nice, like the size of the particles, they look okay. They're going to be distorted by the motion blur, but they are okay like that. Okay, so the custom field, we're going to do the VGB from particles, and this is the same. Let's see. Yeah, we're also doing the velocities. So we have like this for the custom field. We're splitting that, and we also bring not the the custom surface, but instead we need to bring the original surface field. So it's here. Where is it? I think it's not the eroded one. I want to grab here and say alt flip surf. Okay, so this guy, I want to object merge this guy. So, and export relative just to link. Actually, we need the velocity on that. So for that, the correct one is the volumes here. So I'm going to just grab that, and sorry, this one. I'm going to just accept. We split and we merge. Let's see how things goes. Yeah, so we have the mix of the splash with the surface in here, and we also have the mix of the velocities. And with that, we can just get like our custom surface field. That's great. And also, before we go into the whitewater, just for this class, I also want to jump into our selection for the whitewater source. And let's see. Let's think a little bit. Oh, just because we didn't cache. So yeah, let's do like that. Let's cache out the custom field and then come back and work on our whitewater source and the solver. Again, don't forget before caching that we need to rename that properly. All right. So yeah, it's really important that we do this properly. Otherwise, you can cache on top of your other cache. And I'm not sure if you will need that or if it's everything rendered, but just safe to save as a correct new name. Thank you. So we cached the custom volumes, and let's start working on our whitewater. So remember that from our splash sim, we cache that and we extract the selection from that. So let's dive inside, and this is the previous numbers. So let's start selecting it. So I want to get like instead of greater than 4, I want to reduce that. So I want to have a little bit more. So it's great from 2.5. And we can have like this, that is the age. We can reduce that as well, so we can start emitting a little bit earlier. Otherwise, could be too um, less than 2.5, just a little bit like earlier, because everything happens very fast. And here, let's increase a little bit more. So we make this selection. So we have like these 3 thresholds for making it. And then we just set the emission based on the length that is from the minimum that we set all the way to 7. And then also we need to set like the minimum force for the age, and we also fit range that, and we're multiplying and grabbing the p scale that we have like a range for the p scale, and also the emit attribute that we're going to rasterize into the solver as an extra source for that. And we are ranging that from 0.5 in the areas that are fading away, and you can look that into the color. So you see that the color, let me see in another frame. Yeah, so I think we are getting maybe a little bit to feel. Yeah, I want to increase the minimum here a little bit, so we have like, otherwise the set is too low. And also here we can increase that, and yeah, let's set that to 5 just to increase that a little bit, and set some minimum emit as well here. Great. So we have a little bit more in that. And now we can come to our whitewater source. And this time we have like this set, like as we did before, is set in the extra, and we don't emit from any of these guys. We only emit from our extra sources. So it's a very good way to control how you want to emit. The volumes itself we keep as is, and the extra sources we also keep the multiplication here. So here is our source. That's what we will emit from. That's really good. I think that's a very good amount for that. And you can cache that, or you can just set everything and then cache both together. Okay, this is going to cache quite fast. So if you want to wait, you cache, you check. Otherwise, you can do the same thing with tops and cache both of them at the same time. I'm going to disable the simulation. I'm going to dive inside, and let's grab our collisions from this one. We're going to grab this guy. Actually, I want to copy this as well. So we copy both of them, and let's dive in here. And I want to paste this and this guy. Let's reverse that. And this deletion, I can set this into the post solve. And also this one we can change for the wind. I'm going to grab that from here just because it's faster. Instead of doing the puppet vec, the puppet vec is a little bit slower. So just because of that, I want to just do that. So let me replace that for the wind. Let's dive into the age and just check the values. I think we can reduce that a little bit, so we can start being affect this a little bit sooner. And the wind we keep as is, and we also keep as is this part, right? So for the deletions of the whitewater, there is a little bit something different, because as we have now the surface field of our custom volumes, I think this is the same name that we have. Let me just go a little bit above, and we have the out whitewater emit and the custom volumes here. So I think, yeah, it's correct. So this is the custom volumes relative path, accept. and the emission is out whitewater emits. So yeah, it's correct. You can just double check by writing and seeing what it's going to bring. And we have actually two of them that we might have like a mistake. So is the one that is smaller, because I probably we have set the same one for this one. Yeah. So I'm going to just rename that emit splash just to be 100% sure. So emit splash is this one. All right. Okay, this is the values that I have. I'm going to maybe keep using the same values for that, or you can increase this a little bit. Yeah, I'll keep like a little bit more because they're pressing, but you need to play with the numbers that you feel comfortable when you can again do more than one set for those. I want to get like, yeah, 2 is good. All this is good. The noise we can keep. The limits, we need to change the limits. We need to have like better limits. Can be the bound again, like can be the bound boat. Yeah, could be the bound boat, but also I think it's very efficient. This one, we can use this outbound. So let's use the outbound. I'm going to come to the splash. Warning box centered. Okay, we have like correctly set. This one we can keep the same for the forces. We don't need to change any of that. It worked pretty well in the other one, so I will keep as is and everything else the same. So because we have those, we don't need to delete inside of the water anymore. You know, like it doesn't make sense to delete inside of the water because we actually having the things that hit the water, they're going to go to the surface and stay in the surface. So we don't need to delete that. So, okay, let me change that. So the eroded flip, we don't need. So it's known that we can still delete by cam and we can delete by the VDB, the boat VDB. Okay, that's 2 of them. So this one we can delete and we need to disconnect this guy. So the same. So if it's outside the camera view or if it's inside the boat, we delete. Everything else we keep as is. And that's basically it. You can cache both of them. You can set the tops as we set so many times before. You set your system here and you run from there one after the other. And that's it. So we're almost there. I think after that we can work on our rain mist, and then we are pretty much set. We just need to bring everything to Solaris, but there is nothing new about that, and render those. Just rename everything again. We're not going to run these guys. Not necessary for this one. I think we're going to have a lot of things just coming from the whitewater, so it's great. And that's it. Thank you. So welcome. Here is my whitewater sim. Looks really nice. This is one of the frames. Let me go to another frame. You see, it looks really nice, like very much around the edges of the boat with the splashes. Looks really nice. It's being curled by the camera. So here is to blast the bubbles. Everything that's deep on the water, just to make it easier to render. But the amount is not that much, so I wouldn't mind keeping that in this case. And I don't need to delete inside because we already did that in the solver. And here is just setting the P scale. So the P scale, we're doing it based on the age of the particles. And we are deleting some of them that are like, let me just see. Yeah, we don't need to delete that, so it's fine. And between 0 and 1 because we're normalizing the age, and we're setting the P scale, and we're setting the density as well as we did before. So for the P scale, I want to reduce that like to smaller because we're closer to the camera, so something like that. And we can keep the density as this, and maybe we can just increase that a little bit, and let's visualize the lit spheres to see. Yeah, looks nice. And if we combine that with the flip splash, that is this one, just to see them together, we have like a more dense feel for it. So this is the flip dance, and let's add the white water. Yeah, just give like more volume to it and connects more. So it's really nice. With that, we already have out splash white water. That's great. Well, let's dive into our mist. Let's optimize that for this new camera. So let's bring the correct camera. It's this one. We keep everything as is. We don't need to change. The bound, we need to play with the bound. So you see, we can't emit just ahead of the camera. You need to bring to move this bound a little bit more. So let's play with this. So I want to move this 2 and this one minus 25.9. Just to, we don't need to go all the way to that area because we're mirroring downwards, so it's fine. Minus 26, 4.7. These are the numbers that I already tested, so that's why I'm being so precise. And 9.8, 9.8. So okay, this is the bound for the emission. We don't need to do any transformation in that. With that bound, we already set correctly. And now I believe that we need to delete is the number 3. So yeah, is this one that we're going to emit from. We need to remesh this, and 0.1. We need a little bit more resolution because it's also a smaller grid. So yeah, just give us a little bit more resolution. Let me do the noise and let's visualize that. So this is the noise. I think the noise is basically good for us. We don't need to tweak that. Scattering, that's good. Maybe we need to play with the scatter to reduce that a little bit. We're more ahead of the camera. And yeah, I think it's good. We can relax, we can keep everything as is. So let's keep the same velocities and the same noise, make it work, and same parallel. Okay, so we need to do the smoke sim. So let me disable that. Simulation can start on frame 1 because we need like this to have like enough time for that to work. So we can leave as 1, and let's dive inside. We don't need any collision for that, and I think everything should be correctly set. There's nothing. Oh, okay, the max bounds. Yeah, the rain mist max bound. We now have like this, so it's already linked. It's going to work. It's correctly set. So because this one, if we go in here to the gas, it's object rain mist outbound. So yeah, the correct one. Because we didn't change the name, so it's good. Rain mist, smoke sim, rain mist outbound. Okay, yeah. We keep bringing the velocities, temperature, and density, and the velocities, density, temperature, velocity as is. So it's all good. Cache this, and everything here is the default. There's nothing that we are. Okay, this one we need to change that also, but it's just for the render, so we can do that after we simulate. And for the pop, let me go in here. Also, let me go rain miss vol, close up, and this also close up. The part that I want to do is the cache 2, this one. Yeah, and yeah, from 1 to 168, and then this guy is also 1 to 168, and yeah, we keep that like we don't need to delete the group. We might select, and here let's dive inside. Let's see if there's anything that we need to adjust, but I think we're all good and set. Mist fell, pop kill, outbound, wave. Okay, yeah, this is killing inside this. We can just pick our not wave tank fluid. We can come to our uppress sim, and let's look to our flip surf. Bounding volume. We change to bounding volume, flip surf, and it's not inverted. So if it goes inside the flip surf, it's going to be deleted. Or if it's outside, because inverted the outbound is going to be deleted. And that's it. It's great. Yeah, first context input is this one. And we're vecting by this guy. So these need to be run before that. You can set the top network, and that's basically it. Okay, yeah, this one I need to change mine to my cache 2 directory. Great. And I think with that, after we run this two, guys, we are set to start rendering our last shot. Thank you. Welcome back. So let's see what we can improve on that. I think this we're deleting inside the fluid volume for the rain. So let me just show you. This is my smoke sim, and I want to delete inside the volume. So we have that. We don't need to convert to this. So I'm going to just select this, and let's grab it from our uppress sim. The custom volumes, no, it can be just the surf. Yeah, the surf, this one, the surface. Yeah, it's good. So we need to connect that. We don't need this. And let's visualize that. Yeah, we deleted this area inside. It's great. We can also, if you want to really optimize, we can also bring the camera kill that we did based on the camera. So let me bring that. And let me do this one. And in this, we're going to bring the camera. So it's kill by cam. It's this volume. Yeah. We can also delete by that. So I'm going to just place this on the third input, select, and we can go. And this one is the third input, and if it's greater than as well. So it's greater than, actually this one, if it's less than, right? Like, so if it's less than, okay, yeah, we are multiplying that, so that's why. Okay, greater than, and this one should be less than, and we also multiply that. and we have like working in here, but very optimized, nothing outside that, because we are multiplying that, and everything that is greater than is becoming 0, and what's less than is becoming 1. So this is 1 and everything else is 0, so it's multiplying, very optimized. Also, we can do the same thing for that. We can just grab this guy, copy, and we can do the same trick with the volume sample. So, but instead we do a point swap, delete by cam, and we delete by the camera. We grab a volume volume sample of the second input, sample, compare. We're going to delete if it's greater than, CG remove points, and we deleted everything outside also. And then I also want to delete inside the fluid, so I also want to do that in here. So let me go in here, do another volume sample. This one is here, compare. This one is less than, and let's place or. If it's one or the other, you can delete if it's inside the water or if it's outside the camera. Great, very much, pretty much optimized. In the next lesson, we're going to come to here, and let me just visualize in discs from the camera. So this is the spray passing by, and they have like velocities and all that. So it's very interesting. We're going to bring everything to Solaris to render